Are there things you can let us in on that haven't been publicly announced yet that's happening in the background?
We're getting rid of the GRAS standard,
Which stands for
generally recognized as safe. FDA was a response to adulterated foods, so it was testing for bacteria in foods. Then it began regulating chemical content of food and chemical additives. It wanted to draw a line where it didn't have to test everything. FDA became captured by the food industry. They enlarged the GRAS standard to apply to everything, and that's why we have 10,000 ingredients in our food, and the Europeans only have 400.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has just blown the lid off of a major issue, the corruption surrounding GRAS ingredients. That stands for generally recognized as safe ingredients in our food, GRAS. Now, he's calling out the FDA, saying it's been captured by big food companies who prioritize profits over our health. These ingredients, many banned in other countries, aren't properly safety tested, and they're harming Americans every day. Now, if you don't know, the GRAS designation was created by the FDA back in the 1950s, and it was created to cover, common, well-known ingredients like vinegar or salt that didn't need extensive testing. And the idea was simple: save time and resources for ingredients everyone agreed were basically safe. But over the decades, the food industry exploited this loophole. And instead of just applying GRAS standards to spices or basic ingredients, companies started slapping the label on thousands of new complex chemicals and additives without proper oversight. Bobby Kennedy revealed that the FDA, which is supposed to be regulating this stuff, allows companies to self-certify these ingredients under the cloak of GRAS, that generally recognized as safe, meaning they can decide for themselves if something's safe without independent testing. Kennedy dropped this bombshell in a recent press conference, pointing out that the FDA has been corrupted by the very industries it's supposed to regulate. He says 75% of the FDA's budget comes from the companies they oversee, creating a massive conflict of interest. The cozy relationship means that FDA often looks the other way while food giants pump our groceries full of untested additives. Bobby highlighted how many GRAS ingredients, like certain preservatives, artificial sweeteners, and flavor enhancers, are linked to serious health issues like obesity, ADHD, and even cancer in some studies. Now, these same ingredients, they actually turn out to be banned or at least heavily restricted in places like the European Union, Canada, and Japan, where regulators demand actual safety data. Needless to say, Bobby Kennedy is calling this a mass poisoning of the American public, driven by corporate greed and a captured FDA. So why is the United States so far behind in all of this? In the EU, food additives go through strict, independent testing before they hit the market. If there's even a hint of harm, they're banned or labeled with warnings. So, for example, products with the dye yellow 5, in Europe, they carry a notice saying that it may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. But in the States, it's just another GRAS ingredient. So there's no warning required. Canada and Japan have similar systems, prioritizing public health over industry profits. So Kennedy has launched a full review of GRAS standards, demanding transparency and independent testing for all food additives. And he's also calling for Congress to pass laws closing the GRAS loophole, though he admits this could take years due to industry pushback. That's just a nice way of saying lobbyists. Regardless, this whole situation exposes a brutal truth. The government is letting companies we trust cut corners on safety testing to save money with zero regard for how it impacts our health. Profits over people. The FDA, meant to protect us, have been turned into a revolving door for industry insiders who greenlight untested chemicals just to keep profits flowing. It's not just about food dyes or preservatives. It's about a system that puts corporate greed over human lives, leaving Americans sicker and more vulnerable than people in other countries. Joining me today is Joey Atlas. Joey is the founder of Living Strength Nutritionals and an expert in helping older people get healthy, which is fundamental in an age where we're being lied to constantly. He's not only bringing awareness to the issue, but he also has proven actionable solutions that many in our audience have discovered for themselves and have been transformed by already. Joey, welcome back. Great to see you again, my friend.
Likewise, Brother Steve. Always good to be here with you.
It's always good to have you. So you've been on the front lines advocating for Maha for ages, man. This is your moment.
Yeah.
I mean, can you break down exactly what's happening with these GRAS ingredients and how the FDA's, well, let's just frankly call it corruption, is
Absolutely.
allowing untested chemicals into our food supply?
Absolutely. So as we do this, let's keep in mind, this is only one little piece of this Maha puzzle, right? This grass topic. And there are others that we can get into on other episodes, but let's talk about this one today. So back, back in the 80s, 90s, we spoke about this. We saw a proliferation of processed, packaged, very quick and easy to make foods, meals, dinners, and snacks, right? And so when people hear, well, how is it that we can have 10,000 ingredients in our food supply while Europe has 4, 5, 600 maximum?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so grass is part of that reason, okay? When the FDA started implementing this with food and beverage companies, it was basically a topic of goodwill. Hey, we will consider this grass generally recognized as safe if you honestly believe it is. Now, if it's not, we're eventually going to find out because plenty of problems are going to arise in the populations that are consuming these goods. Right? We'll find out eventually that they're actually not safe, right? So what is the opposite of generally recognized as safe? Definitely proven to be safe. That's what we should want.
Right.
As a label of certification on any ingredient that goes into any kind of food that we're going to be consuming. Not generally recognized as safe.
Right.
But definitely,
because who's doing the recognizing, right?
Right. It's like, if you think about that, there's a lot of ambiguity and gray area in that phrase.
Right.
So what happens with that? Okay. Take right now, the hot topic, the first one to be addressed are the food colorings, the dyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next are going to be emulsifiers, dough conditioners, preservatives, flavor enhancers, and he's going to go down the list, right? But this is going to take time. It's going to take back and forth. It's not, despite supposedly the big food companies saying to RFK Jr., "Hey, we're ready to work with you on all this. Lay it out." They know that even though they're saying that, it's not good. That's not going to be happening. Right. It's going to be slow, long, drawn out, and even when things get done that can be reported on, hey, here's the newest milestone in the cleaning up of our food and beverage supply. You have to understand, the food companies are already thinking ahead. Here's what they're thinking.
Right.
They're thinking, well, RFK Jr., if we take your advice and we make these changes, does that mean these foods are going to be better, and therefore we're allowed to sell them without worry that there's going to be governmental backlash coming down on us? Are they going to be healthier? Like, since you want us to do this to make them better and healthier, can we say these are now healthier, improved, and better for you? Right? So think about this. Think about going to buy a bag of Doritos or Oreos, or your, best-selling frozen pizza because it's so cheap and easy to make. When they make some of these changes in those ingredient panels and what goes into making that processed food, they're going to want to know, hey, can we say this is better for you now on the package, on the box, so that people understand we've made changes to now be in this new compliance with you, right? And so this is going to happen. I guarantee it. So people are going to have to be mindful. Oh, look, these are the healthier Oreos. or these are the better for you Doritos, or better for you soda. What, you name it. Go down the list, because the list is endless. People are going to need to be aware of this. There's still going to be this grass realm,
Right.
where the generally recognized as safe still gets to exist, and there will still be ingredients, foods, additives, etc., that will be placed in that gray area until some other better way of applying for the use of a new ingredient in our food system and in specific foods is brought to the table, so that hopefully it's closer to definitely proven as safe instead of generally recognized as safe, right? Just because we don't die on the spot doesn't mean it's okay for us to be eating. The real damage happens cumulatively over 10, 20, 30, 40 years,
Right.
when we could see the effects of a lifestyle that was based on choices of putting trust in our food and beverage companies, not having to determine, I wonder if they're lying to me or not.
Yeah,
Maybe I
exactly.
need to think this through myself before I put my trust in them.
And just so you guys know, I mean, Joey's is the real deal. This is a supplement that I take every day as Elixir Mixer. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but it's all, if you read the ingredients in the back, this is all real foods, real whole foods. He has no time for synthetics or anything like that. It's really impressive.
By the way, anybody viewing, there is a Steve17 discount code.
Ooh, all
Steve17.
right.
For
Yeah.
anybody who goes there, you'll get to use the Steve17 code. You're also going to get a completely free home training program that's gentle, sustainable, doable, and you're going to get better results than anything you've ever tried in the past, I guarantee.
Yeah,
That's
well,
great.
you're the living I mean, you live it. It's obvious.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So RFK Jr. described the FDA as basically got captured by big food companies. This revolving door of sitting on the board of the very companies that you're supposed to be overseeing and regulating. Clear conflict of interest. In your view, how have these corporate influences, ended up exploiting the grass loophole to flood our groceries with harmful additives?
It's big money. I mean, it's
Yeah.
huge money.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for people to understand the amounts of money that are moving around in this realm,
Yeah.
right? So when inconceivable amounts of money are moving around, decisions that are not the best for us are made against us, right? And so now, what does this mean? Just like I've been doing and my peers have been doing, and what we've been teaching our clients and followers, is that we have to take responsibility ourselves to determine what actually is safe, not generally recognized as safe. Because if we defer to their judgment on what's safe for us to consume, we're basically playing Russian roulette, long-term Russian roulette. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you an example. My mom and dad are both 78. Okay. My dad, like I mentioned in the past, got me into this whole realm. He was living a healthy lifestyle back in the 60s.
He was very intentional. Yeah.
Very intentional. He knew you have to train your body gently and properly for the long term. You have to nourish it properly, especially for long-term benefits and longevity. Right? And you have to supplement properly to basically support everything you're doing and all the extra physical output and the environmental factors that we're surrounded by, regardless whether or not we like them. Those are things we can't control, but we can control the level of quality of nutrition we take in and the quality of our supplements we take in to combat all of that. Now, my dad chose his lifestyle. My mom chose her lifestyle. My mom was the opposite. She was hooked on smoking since she was a teenager.
Right.
She could never mentally get herself to stick to any kind of gentle exercise program. And her diet was all over the place. She was a typical woman of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, Weight Watchers, Atkins diet, Scarsdale diet, the grapefruit diet. That was my mom. Okay. Now, fast forward to where they're almost both 80 years old. And it's surprising that my mom is still alive. However, right now, as we record this today, she might be taking her last breath right now. I'm going to
Oh,
be
wow.
going over there in about 2 hours for another overnight shift at the house. My mom's health, it looks like she's teetering on the edge of 99 years old and can barely take a step on her own. My father, it looks like he's a 50-year-old
Yeah.
running circles around her, taking care of her 24/7. Fortunately, I'm close by to help. My sister moved down to help. But my point is this. My mom chose the traditional American lifestyle, using the standard American diet of eating and then quote unquote dieting, like most American women and a lot of men too have chosen. All right. So I get to see with my own eyes, again, because I've seen this in many of my client family situations. I get to see with my own eyes in my parents what it looks like to choose one path versus the other. My father still looks like he has 20 more years of life in him. My mom might have 2 minutes, 20 minutes. She might have 2 weeks. She might miraculously surprise us and get 10 more years. But I can tell you this, it's not going to be any kind of quality of life that anybody would want to live with for 10 years.
Right. Well, we certainly pray for your mom and
Thank you.
absolutely and your family. But
Thank
what, boy, talk about a tale of two cities, and it's just based on these lifestyle choices that they made. I guess what's and the money issue is no question. I think you're absolutely correct. Money makes us do. I mean, this is just this. It's this Judas principle, obviously. Or even going all the way back to the garden. If you eat of this apple, you will be like God. I mean, it's just
Right.
there is this sense that this kind of this token value giving you power and so forth.
Right.
It's a temptation that's as old as humanity. Probably even angelic beings and fallen angelic beings and like. But I mean, what do you think? What do you think changed the system itself? I mean, the FDA is supposed to be something we rely on and trust. And
So,
it's
yeah, that's
yeah,
a great question. Great question. Here, and I'll tell you what it is. The FDA only has so much manpower to keep up with all that they have to do. There's no way they could individually scrutinize each new ingredient coming into the system to test it long enough to determine whether or not it's safe to put into our food supply
right,
in specific products.
right,
They don't have the manpower.
right,
So they were, let's say back in the 60s and 70s, early 80s, they were overwhelmed with figuring out how are we going to keep some kind of tabs on what's going into the food supply. We can't possibly look at every ingredient individually that are
right,
coming into the supply.
right.
What we have to do is implement some kind of fast oversight system that has some flexibility, right? So the grass, generally recognized as safe, gave them a way to
I
in
see.
goodwill, give the
Yeah,
food companies, beverage companies, the opportunity to say, "Hey, we have this new ingredient. We believe it's grass, generally recognized as safe. Here's what we have so far. We're going to be using this in certain products." But here's what people have to understand: the just because something has the grass label
yeah,
and
yeah. And the grass standard, as it
yeah,
were.
it's
Yeah,
more than just a label. It's kind of
yeah,
like we can fool them with this
yeah.
great
To cover.
phrase.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
So, but here's the thing. Eventually, we are going to have testing methods and enough research,
Mm,
historical research studies,
yep.
where we're going to, and especially with the use of incredible AI, we're going to be able
AI. I
to
was just
determine
thinking that. Yeah,
which ingredients are responsible for things like what we're seeing in my mom: dementia, Alzheimer's, bone loss,
yeah,
muscle loss, brain neuro connections in the body that are
yeah,
responsible for basically allowing us to move in ways that we want to move,
yeah.
controlling your bowel movements, allowing you to think clearly.
Yeah.
Like when all this stuff starts to disappear, we have to ask, why is the heart still ticking? And why is the body still, quote unquote, alive, but all the systems are shutting down where this person has zero quality of life and everybody around them has to do everything for them
Right.
and keep an eye on them so they don't fall and hurt themselves or kill themselves in the process.
Right. Right.
Right. So here's the thing. Despite the big dollars that are going around, a lot of it, all these people, like my mom, they're getting treated by all kinds of doctors in and out of the hospital, ambulance visits, rides here and there. This is big, big bucks on the insurance and medical side of the money equation, right? So we have to start connecting the dots here.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, I said the dollars are very, very big, inconceivably big.
Yeah.
It's not just contained in the food and beverage industry. This all now feeds the whole medical system that is generating billions and billions of dollars in sick care for people who could have avoided the vast majority of these illnesses and early deaths.
Yep. Yep. Oh, so well said. I mean, again, you really bring home the reality. There is no MAGA without MAHA. We cannot make America great again if we don't first make health great again.
If our
Americans
society is ailing and unhealthy,
forget it.
There's no way our country can be
We're
great
keeling
and
over.
healthy.
Yeah.
No.
We personally, we bodily keel over, and we societally and culturally keel over.
Yeah,
So
other countries are laughing at our health profile.
Right.
Despite the smaller percentage of us who are being proactive and wise about it, 80, 85, possibly 90% of our population, not just older people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they have aged themselves 20, 30 years on fast forward.
Yeah.
That is not normal.
That's not normal. Yeah, absolutely.
And that could be one of our Achilles heels for the greatness of this country. We have to take personal responsibility for our part in this whole equation.
And what a beautiful pivot. That's exactly where I wanted to go. That is perfect pivot. So let's go to the hope side of things, because that's what you're all about, is bringing hope into this equation. So what hope do we have to protect our and reverse the declining health trends in America? What do you see on the horizon? Are obviously the MAHA movement has gotten you extremely excited. This is amazing stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. So it comes down to four things. One, you have to nourish your body properly. Like you have to be mindful of the foods you're consuming for yourself and your family, right? If you're in charge of that part of your home life, you have to be more mindful of what you're putting in your body, because what you put in your body becomes your body.
Yes.
When our moms and grandmothers used to say, you are what you eat, it's true. We become physically what we eat on a cellular level, right?
Yes.
That's how all the disease invades and gets Trojan horsed into our bodies. All right. Now, so it's nourishing through proper foods. And I'm not talking about diets. I'm talking about awesome gourmet fitness nutrition. All right. Mm-hmm. The other part is support with proper supplementation to give our bodies everything it needs on a micronutrient level and an adaptogenic level, so that we're not only deteriorating our own health with the bad choices, but by making better choices with good supplementation, we're actually bolstering our youth, our immunity, our strength, our bone density, muscle development, our vision, our brain acuity, our neurological function, all the above. I don't have time to list everything, but it's everything that could go wrong. You want to make better so that there's much less chance of something going wrong, and you have either injury resiliency or sickness resiliency, where if and when you do get ill, you rebound faster because your body has been prepared to do that, not the opposite.
Yes.
Right. And the other part of the equation is proper gentle exercise. That's why I give away that free program to anybody who buys the Elixir Mixer. They get the free program, so you don't even have to go look for a trainer. You don't have to hire a coach. You don't have to even go join a gym, because a lot of people don't want to. If you do, that's fine. But the free program can be done at home, so you have the exercise, strengthening, balance, agility part taken care of, right? So you're maintaining muscles, maintaining bone density, maintaining joint functionality, and getting rid of aches and pains in the process.
Yeah.
The other part is simply just reducing known toxins that are in your environment. And this is going to be another thing in the Maha movement down the road. Our cleaning products, our grooming products, our hygiene products, all these have all kinds of ingredients in there that are just now starting to be proven bad for us.
Yeah.
Right? And now as that escalates, what more of that will be in the news front and center. However, we can be our own decision makers and start cleaning up. What cleaners are we using in our house?
Right.
What hygiene products are we using in and on our bodies and hair?
Yep.
Right? We can start cleaning those up, because all the good replacement products already exist. We don't have to wait for anything.
That's
they're
the beauty
already
of it.
good companies who saw this coming long ago, and they've been doing it for 1, 2, 3 decades already. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Before you get to what you're going to say, people are thinking, well, you know, what are these food companies going to do when they have to remove these ingredients? Here's one example. This is a delicious, it's a treat. It's a candy made from vegetables and fruits, right? Really simple. The ingredients are all food derived. Everything in here is from foods. The sweetener is derived from berries. The actual chewy in here, they're dried carrots.
I love it.
These are phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
So all these, that's one example. All these things already exist. There's a whole world out there for people like us who already want these things, but this whole world needs to be discovered by the average person who doesn't yet know there's all these great things available to them already. All right.
Right. So it's literally a matter of, in many, for lack of a better singular term, it's just a matter of consciousness. You just have to know there's this whole other world out there that a lot of people don't even realize. Speaking of people who have put together amazing products, this is Joey's Brain Belly Body Elixir Mixer. I take it every day, shake it up, of course, as you taught us. So I love to get it from all the nutrients up from the bottom and the top. This is amazing. I love it. Everybody who watches this channel knows I take it every day, and I can't say enough good about it. Can you explain how it works to counter just all the harm caused by these untested food additives, and most especially how the elixir empowers people to take control of their well-being?
Yeah, absolutely. So, number one, I want to let you know the previous few times we've mentioned this, a lot of your people are taking it, enjoying it on long-term subscriptions. They're getting rid of all their other junky supplements. They say they're saving hundreds of dollars a month because they've used this to replace all these other random supplements. Here's how it works. All the ingredients in it, number one, are food derived. All right. That was a strict requirement that my production partner company had to meet. All food derived, nothing synthetic, nothing lab made. All right. Now, when we put this into our bodies, brains, and bellies, there's a process called displacement. All right. When we put really good nutrients in the right amounts into our brains, bellies, and bodies, those good nutrients, which our bodies want and were divinely designed to be intaking, when they come into our bodies, there's an action called displacement. The good ones are displacing the bad ones that were there before. And if somebody's still consuming them, weaning themselves off bad foods, bad ingredients, it's displacing them and replacing them with the good ones.
Right.
Now, this all happens on a cellular level, not a very, very superficial level in your stomach. It's replacing them. There's a process called digestion, assimilation, and then ultimately cellular replacement. What this does, the formula allows all the new cells that our body is creating to replace the old cells to now be made with the best quality building materials available. Very different than taking in chemicals, processed foods, grass ingredients, which are questionable, and highly processed non-organic ingredients.
Right.
Very, very different scenario. Now, what people are saying, and it's what I already knew, when we're consuming better for us ingredients, our brains are telling us, hey, we don't want the other stuff.
Right.
We don't
Right.
have cravings for the other stuff anymore.
It's true.
Yes,
It's so
very
true.
true.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
people are saying, hey, I don't have sugar cravings
Uh,
anymore,
yeah.
or I don't have the afternoon candy craving that I used to get. Is that normal? It's wonderful, but is it normal? Because I'm loving this and I want that to last because it's helping me drop some fat. It's helping me have more energy. It's helping me make better choices throughout my whole day. That was part of the intentional design on when people look at the ingredient list, you see there's a lot
Yeah.
of micronutrients and adaptogens together combined, right? And that's for many reasons, but one of them is to send the signal to the brain that, hey, we've got everything we need today. There's really not much more you need. So focus on getting more good stuff so that we keep this feeling, energy, and these capabilities going because this is how we're supposed to be operating.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Yeah, gang, if you haven't already done it, you gotta check out Joey's Elixir Mixer supplement. Again, I love it. I'm a client. I drink it every day, and it's the best supplement on the market to get you
And
not only living better but feeling better.
feeling
You
awesome,
just
sleeping
it,
better,
it's
going to, being more quote unquote regular. Uh,
yeah, you're not going to be disappointed. It is absolutely amazing stuff. So click on the link in the description below. You can scan the QR code, get yours today. Joe's got a great.
Steve 17 is that discount code.
That's
Don't
it.
forget.
It's got a great discount. Steve17. Love it. I'm seriously, guys, just try it. Just so you got nothing to lose. That's for sure. Give it a shot. Get one for your spouse, your partner. You'll love it and you'll be healthier. It's Maha. This is all about
That's it.
Maha.
That's it.
That's
What
it.
you put in is what you get out. It's that simple.
I love it, Joey. All right, Joey, you're the best. Let's have you back soon because there's so much going on. RFK is just getting started.
Oh yeah, we got a lot more to talk about down the road. Trust me, this is just getting started.
Just the beginning. Love it.
Yes.
All right, Joe. We'll have you back soon then.
All right, brother. Amen. Good seeing you.
God bless you, man.
God bless.